Harlequin Intrigue and HarlequinAudio present Danger in Dade by Caridad Piñeiro, performed by Osorio.
To my amazing daughter and son-in-law, Sam and Dan, wishing you all the best on the addition of Axel Scott. May he bring you immense joy. Chapter 1. The pit bull nearly yanked Brett Madison's arm out of its socket as the dog jerked its head back and forth, thrashing forcefully, the pressure on his forearm punishing. "Pust, Mango, pust," Sarah Hernandez commanded, and the dog instantly released his arm and sat, staring at him as if ready to attack again. Sarah strolled over and bent to rub Mango's head affectionately, ruffling her short, glossy white and tan fur. "Good girl, Mango, good girl," she said, and fed Mango a treat as Brett slipped off his baseball cap and wiped sweat from his forehead. Despite the mid-December weather that had brought a cooling breeze through the doors of the training ring building, the dog bite suit was hot thanks to its weight and padding. "Do you think she's ready?" he asked Sarah, the canine trainer who South Beach Security had hired nearly 7 months earlier to run their new canine training center just outside Miami. Sarah smiled and chuckled. "Mango's ready. What about you?" she asked, and shot him a look from the corner of her eye. Brett dragged a hand through the short, damp strands of his high and tight cut and shook his head. "Possibly. It's only been 3 weeks that we've been working together." "A solid 3 weeks, and you've had a canine partner before," Sarah said, and skimmed a hand down his arm to reassure him. "I worked with a canine during my time in the Marines, but it's been a while," he said, and rubbed Mango's head as well to reward the dog for her good behavior. It was while working as a military policeman that he'd met SBS acting chief Trey Gonzalez, and then served with him during a second tour in Iraq. A tour that they'd both survived, although the scars remained. "I think you and Mango will be happy together," Sarah said, and slipped the muscular dog another treat. Brett unzipped the suit and slipped out of it. The cooler air bathed his sweat-drenched clothes, rousing goosebumps on his overheated skin. He rubbed his arms to wipe them away and then accepted Mango's leash as Sarah handed it to him. "You're ready," Sarah said, reassuring him yet again. "I am," he said, and glanced down at Mango, who cocked her head to the side and peered at him with joyful cinnamon-brown eyes and a friendly grin, her tongue lolling out of her mouth. "You are too, Mango," he said, almost as if to convince himself. It had only been 3 weeks since Sarah had paired him up with the pit bull, and while the dog had performed amazingly well during their training, it would take more work and time together for him to feel as if he and Mango would be up for anything Trey Gonzalez might assign. His friend Trey had reached out to him months earlier while he'd been working as a police officer in a sleepy North Carolina town. He'd liked the quiet at first, after the trauma from his tour of duty, but had been feeling lost and dissatisfied after several years. When Trey had called with the opportunity to join him in Miami, he'd jumped on it. The fact that Trey now trusted him with one of the coveted positions in their new canine training program spoke to the fact that Trey was pleased with what Brett had done so far with South Beach Security. As Sarah and he walked away from the training ring, he noticed Trey's cousin and Sarah's new fiancé, Jose Gonzalez, leaning against the doorframe of the building, a broad smile erupting on his face as it settled on Sarah. She hurried to Jose's side and kissed him as he wrapped an arm around her waist. When Brett approached, he held his hand out and said, "Congratulations on the engagement, Pepe." "Gracias. Congrats to you as well on the promotion to the canine division," Jose said as he shook Brett's hand. "Thanks. I hope I don't disappoint. I know Trey is keen on the canines taking off for the agency," Brett said. He owed Trey for believing in him after what had happened in Iraq. "It was a rocky start, what with the serial killer here at the kennels, but I'm sure you and the other agents Sarah trains will be up to the challenge," Jose said, and playfully squeezed Sarah closer. "I know Brett and Mango will be up for anything," Sarah said, no indecision in her voice. Brett smiled and dipped his head in appreciation for her trust in him and his new canine partner's capabilities, which were a testament to her training skills.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?